Welcome back to Sunrise. It is now time for your headlines with your girl, Ticulus Maximus Meridius.
Where are we getting from? Where are we getting from?
Ticulus Maximus Meridius.
Great morning.
Good morning, Teeks.
Yeah, good morning. Let me tell you, Mrs. Kitty, I was listening to you earlier about the shopping at the supermarket. Let me tell you what's happening. Before, people never really took the hurricane warnings earlier very seriously. So remember when you said they should have thing already and they should have this already, and they never have it because them said, no man, that hurricane not coming. No man, that this up. But it looked like people really taking this hurricane seriously.
No, well, I take your point, TK, but this was back in 1988 when nobody took hurricane seriously until Gilbert. But then it's ever since then, so what does that shop? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open my wholesale between June and November.
And then lock it up.
Call it June and November, just lock down.
The hurricane store.
Hurricane store.
But speaking of hurricanes, jumping into the headlines, Prime Minister declares Jamaica hurricane ready. So the Jamaican government is assuring the nation all is ready ahead of Hurricane Beryl, which is expected to impact the island. At a press briefing Monday, the Prime Minister asserted, despite projections, Jamaica is well equipped for the storm. The Prime Minister says some emergency services may become unavailable once this system makes landfall. However, he's confident his government has the capacity to respond should the need arise. ODPM's acting director, Richard Thompson, is as confident as the Prime Minister. He revealed that close to 900 shelters are in place to support displaced or unhoused Jamaicans, with more preparations now underway. So meanwhile, Jamaicans, they're being asked, please take Beryl seriously.
All right, so from jump, let's get this clear. When we say, look here, all contingencies have been put in place, all mitigation is in place, we're ready. That doesn't mean that, how the Prime Minister said, or how the police said, or how ODPEM said, we're ready. And look how much things mash up. That does not mean that there will not be damage.
Absolutely.
That does not mean that things will. But in terms of preparation, you can't prepare anymore. You can't prepare any more than how the preparation has gone. Because you know how people stay. On social media, they're going to try to find back a clip of this person who got up and said, and that person got up and said, and we're not thinking that simplistically. The truth is that you can prepare for a disaster only so much.
Because it's Mother Nature.
Exactly.
So
and category 5.
Control all the variables, right? And so even though we're prepared, there are systems in place to mitigate some of the damage, but Mother Nature Mother Nature comes still.
And I think because of climate change, we've gotten so used to Category 4 and Category... Once upon a time, when you hear Category 4, you say, what? No, it could be like, it is par for the course that hurricanes are developing into Category 5. I mean, that wasn't something... back in my time.
I'm a young girl.
Amen.
So,
absolutely understood.
Category 5 wins some treacherous things.
Absolutely.
So let's be prepared and let's not do this whole boy who cried wolf thing. Let's, take it seriously.
Let's take it seriously.
Jamaica is a God-blessed nation, but don't tell me,
don't tempt God.
Don't tempt God. Absolutely. But I mean, we're talking about preparing in Jamaica and what may happen in Jamaica. But Beryl actually has been barreling down on the Eastern Caribbean. So they have some experience. So Beryl has already made history as the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record and the first June major hurricane east of the Lesser Antilles, initially reaching Category 5 status. Beryl briefly weakened but regained strength, posing a significant threat to sections of the Eastern Caribbean. As we talked about, Jamaica is bracing for the menacing hurricane expected to impact the island on Wednesday as a Category 2 system, according to reports so far. Residents in the Eastern Caribbean have already begun to feel the effects of the storm. Look at that. Preparations are advancing, with authorities urging residents to prepare for the worst.
And I'd just like to add quickly, TK, that I hope persons who live in low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, areas with land slippage and all of that. If you live near a gully or anything that may cause...
On the keys,
please come in, right? Don't chance it at all and just throw caution to the wind, right? Heed the calls, because at the end of the day, when rescue persons have to come in, they're also risking their lives, right? So don't wait until the 99th hour before you take it seriously. If you know which way you live ever flood out, make some plans, right? The shelters are there. I know nobody wants to leave their house and go to the shelter and all of that, but guess what? It's better to protect your life, that of your children, and then we can live to see another day and wipe out and buy back.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we, keep our eyes on Beryl, we actually shift our focus to Barbados. So joining us this morning is one of our Sunrise neighbors, multimedia journalist Crystal Hoyt, who is no stranger to covering local and regional news of this nature, from the volcano eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, earthquakes in Haiti, hurricanes, and she's had a special interest in the impact of the climate crisis right in Barbados. So welcome to Sunrise, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Good morning.
Good morning, Crystal.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm magnificent. Thank you so much for asking. Lovely.
All right, let's get straight into it, Crystal. Tell us exactly when did Hurricane Beryl make contact with Barbados?
Well, we started seeing early signs of contact with Beryl probably around 11 p.m. late last night. And we had a lot of strong winds. I can't say that there was significant rain, very, very little flooding, but the south coast of Barbados was significantly impacted all along the south coastline. Our port, the cruise port, Bridgetown Fisheries Complex was significantly impacted. In fact, we had so much damage there that this morning, fisher folks are looking to see what their next move is as it relates to rebuilding. There was flooding along Hastings, some blockage of roads, so significant damage.
No lives lost?
No lives lost reported here in Barbados. And in terms of electricity, power to the island, and drinking water and that kind of stuff, is that still up? Are those things still up and running? What are the people saying?
For the most part, water has resumed for around the country, though Barbados Water Authority did disconnect the system around 7:30 p.m. prior to Beryl landing, for the simple fact that just based on the infrastructure and keeping it safe, it was better to go offline and have the pumping stations offline. Light and Power here in Barbados did have a few connectivity issues. Probably about 25% of persons were impacted. They're still working on getting a few communities back up, but in terms of utilities, we're pretty good.
In terms of magnitude, I know it's early days yet, but is there an idea of the quantum of the damage? Have they begun to make those assessments?
Well, Prime Minister Mia Motley hit the ground running, and her first stop was the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex. Like I said, significant damage there, millions of dollars in investment loss because a lot of the fisher folk brought their boats in to safe harbor, but unfortunately, the jetty was broken, and the surges from the sea, it was too significant, and they fought to try to save some of their vessels because this is their livelihoods. But it wasn't feasible. Over 20 of them sunk, and we also had so much of them being damaged. So this morning, fisher folk are literally looking to see where their next steps are, because this is how they provide for their families.
Yes. And let me ask you though, when was the last time Barbados had a hurricane of this magnitude and this kind of devastation?
Well, we had Hurricane Elsa, which impacted us in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And that was only a Category 1 hurricane for just a few minutes, but it did have significant impact. We saw a lot of houses being damaged here currently in Barbados. Up until last night, there were only about 40 houses that were impacted, which is way less than what Hurricane Elsa did. Again, because Beryl really hit the south coast of the country. So like our terminal, our fisheries, like that's where the impact was. There wasn't a lot of rain to say that we'll have significant flooding. The wind was very high, but not as many roofs came off this time around. We really feel as if, just based on the trajectory of Hurricane Beryl, that we were spared significantly, especially considering going on in our Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, well, we send our love to you, and, BIM is my place, and I love you guys, and, our Caribbean neighbors, and, we just hope that, everything will return to a sense of normalcy as soon as possible. Definitely. But please let us know, how we can help, if we can be of any help to you guys at all.
Prayers to you, because I know Beryl is heading your way.
Yes. So we're bracing for it as well, but we send you guys lots of love and support, and we're here for you. So just reach out, let us know how we can be of any assistance, and, just we send our prayers to you guys at this time.
Thank you.
Definitely. And also, of course, when they're covering our end of it, of course, we will, here on CVM, definitely be a partner for them to give them an idea of what's happening on our side.
Yes. Sure. All right. So on the other side of the break, it's morning checkup, managing cardiology and infectious diseases.
Interesting one, this, yeah.
Stick and stay right here on Sunrise. We'll soon come back.